Hey everyone, welcome back to DC-Cember, as we continue on to the top 10 villains from Justice League, as we start with our number 8, the Suicide Squad, aka...
Meet Task Force X.
Even though they only had one appearance, this is a group that actually managed to outwit the Justice League.
They appeared a second time in a comic, in the Harley Quinn and Batman sequel comic to the movie. Amanda Waller, Rick Flag, Deadshot, and Captain Boomerang approach Killer Croc and Harley about being on the squad.
I like the idea that they were always kind of in the background. They get mentioned a couple other times in the show, but you only see them this one time when they have to really use them for a big purpose. And of course, it's mostly made up of characters we've seen before. I guess it's only kind of half and half. Clock King and Deadshot we'd had, but the rest are all...
Yeah, Captain Boomerang was in a commercial, so we saw an actor who played him before, but that wasn't the real one. Task Force X, they definitely get name dropped a little bit. She calls them the Squad at one point. You were gonna say AKA the Suicide Squad, but they couldn't call them Suicide for a kids show, obviously.
It is interesting that it's just what they are now, like, to everybody, you know, now that they've had a couple movies and a couple animated movies, and that's just the name of the thing. Nobody is like, oh my god, you said the word suicide. That's just what they're called. But I guess, you know, the DCAU, famously is the first to ever approach most of these kinds of things, bringing these characters to more of a pop culture height. So, I guess we'll call them by, good thing they have a second name, so we can call them something else. I do like how spy movie that episode is in JLU, because even though they're all kind of like B-level supervillains to the Justice League, they might not be recognized out of costume, versus the modern, like, you have your Killer Croc on there, you got Harley Quinn on there and stuff like that. Like, somebody's just gonna be like, hey, look, there's a crocodile man. I know this is a mission of some kind. Instead, and I feel like also just on the level of people's personalities, like, the whole deal with that episode was like everyone had been on there for a while except Deadshot, and he's just kind of like loose cannoning it the whole time. And they were trying to rein him in, and you can kind of succeed with that when it's a normal, like, mostly sane person. But having like Harley Quinn on there, I feel like having a character like that, like, used like a lot more supernatural or insane of a character, like in the live action movies, would be a lot harder to do those kinds of missions. And I'm not specifically saying just sneak onto the Watchtower, like that's not all they would ever do or anything, but it'd be tough to, and they don't do the bomb thing in the neck in this episode. They don't tell you, at least, that that's a thing. They're just like, you better do it or else we're gonna kill you, presumably. Like, they don't really say for sure. They just kind of beat you up if you don't follow the rules.
Doesn't it? Yeah, no, you're right.
Wait, no, I think Rick Flag said something where that he drank some nanites. So, like,
oh yeah, you're right.
Does he say that? I don't remember that.
Yeah, like he was given a drink.
Oh, that's right. Okay, you're right. Yeah, that last meal of you had or whatever. Yeah, you're right.
Excuse me.
Any escape attempt, and, well, you're gonna look kind of funny trying to run away with no head.
For the rest of the selection, I like Plastique. She's a good foil to Deadshot.
When she dies at the end of that episode, she's being cradled by Captain Atom, who the two of them had a romantic relationship in the Justice League Europe comic books. So it was kind of a nod back to that.
Interesting, yeah. And Boomerang, obviously being like the Flash villain, he brings like some good humor, especially with being cheap, with keeping 5 cents or some kind of money through the metal detector.
I'm supposed to throw away money?
Yeah, each of these characters would not have made the list on their own of top 10 villains, like big villains, but together they tricked everybody, and they pulled off the heist in the end. So
maybe Deadshot. I had him on my list separately just because he also tried to kill Aquaman in that episode.
That's
and
true,
he joins Black Mask's gang in the Batman Adventures Volume 2.
Yeah, he's the one that sticks out to me as a possibility, but yeah.
And I like the fact that for this episode that folks on the squad, that there's no one killed off, like, you know, so early before the job even begins, and even where like more than half of them actually managed to escape.
like both live action movies have done the like, I don't believe there's a bomb in my head. Well, let me show you. And then they just kill some low level person.
Right.
And this one, they're all pretty much equal level until plastique explodes. So, yeah.
Or even the anime ones where it's always Boomerang, Harley, and Deadshot paired with some other villains, and yet those three are the only ones that survive.
Right. Yeah.
Those three are kind of the linchpin of the franchise. Like they're in all the books. Like if you're gonna have a Suicide Squad book, it's probably gonna have Captain Boomerang and Deadshot.
In the comics, was Plastique pretty much like a frequent female member of the
She
squad?
was in the 80s. Yeah, she was in the 80s book.
It was nice that we got to see Clock King back and not being all vengeful with Mayor Hamilton Hill again.
Right.
It's because by that time, Hill's with the Court of Owls, and I don't know if that's how that lines up. But
I miss his clock hand glasses, but I like. I'm glad they got his voice actor back and not just like Corey Burton or something doing an impression. It's nice to. Yeah. I mean, he does a pretty good job, but yeah.
Yes, very amusing. Time is of the essence.
Next, we're going with Morgan Le Fay.
Everything has a price if you're willing to pay.
In the lore, isn't Morgan Le Fay, is it Arthur's sister or Merlin's sister?
I think the former, but I can't remember. I did read an actual book about all of this in high school, and I can't remember.
Okay, so I guess she was introduced as Arthur's half-sister.
That's
Okay,
right.
there you go.
Yeah.
Okay, I wasn't sure if it was Merlin or
isn't-
Arthur.
Yeah, not really explored in the DCAU, as she's just kind of an enemy of the Knights of the Round Table. And I do, of course, obviously love that we finally get to see Etrigan's like melding with Jason Blood and stuff in the start of that, and just that whole little chunk at the beginning of the Camelot stuff going on is a really cool thing. Oh, that actually like happened in the history of this universe. It's not just like a folk tale or something. It's really was there. Here's a guy that was there and stuff. So yeah.
Yeah, when I first saw that episode, I had that feeling. It's like, wait, I know that guy.
And she was in the original Jack Kirby, like the demon comics that he did about Etrigan. She was in the similar like golden face armor.
Yeah, that's a
And
very
so
Kirby design for her. Yeah.
she's a little different for the show, but pretty close to the traditional aspect. And
Yeah.
And then, since then, she pops up in comics still every now and then.
I consider her pretty high on the list in like the importance in these shows, but it's also interesting that she seems like she's much more of a looming presence than she actually winds up being. Like that episode kind of tells you like, hey, there's this like horrific like witch lady just roaming around looking for like all sorts of magical things that could help and let her take over the world in an instant. And then the only other time that we see her is when she accidentally fucks up and lets her kid get the thing.
Yeah, pretty much. She had a great introduction because, like, we're no strangers to magic users. I say, as far as for with villain side, she's definitely the more competent magic users in the DCAU.
Yeah. But it's like, what's she doing in the meantime? Where is she just hanging out, waiting for the next? Like, she has
being a mom.
Yeah,
Doing
I
mom
guess.
things.
Yeah.
Clean up after Mordred.
We're going to get a Happy Meal again, I guess. Yeah. Let me steal the guy's soul and behind the counter.
Yeah, because as great as it is that we got Jason Blood's origin story for being bonded with Etrigan, we never really got much of a backstory with Morgan, just that she wants to conquer Camelot and I guess eventually the world for her son.
I do really wish we'd gotten to see what she looked like underneath the helmet, because you can assume she looks like how we see her at the start when she's all youthful, but when she gets all old and decrepit, like, we don't get to see what that looks like. But it's also kind of a cool motif to use.
It's a bit like
She's
Calendar Girl
ashamed.
in that
Yeah, I was
regard.
gonna say she's ashamed of what she looks like. Yeah.
But yeah, like, she definitely had a great like intro with how she was messing with Martian Manhunter's mind, promising him a chance to have Mars back, his family and everything. And though ironically, he could have done it on his own. Like, you know, they could have just like flown away, used the stone on himself, because as we've seen with I think what that old guy name is Marv.
Yeah,
it was-
you don't need magic, really. You can just do things. Yeah. Harv Hickman. Yeah.
Oh, Harv. I was thinking
Yeah.
Marv.
I think it's becoming apparent that our bottom half of the list are almost on there more for their impact on the Justice Leaguers than on themselves necessarily. Like, yeah, this is a really good John Jones episode. You get to see a bunch of powers that you've never seen him use at any other time, even afterward, really. And he has a very emotional arc to his story in this, and just the Etrigan and Jean yin yang kind of ebb and flow of that is really cool. And she's just at the helm of it all. So yeah.
And by the time we get to see her in Justice League Unlimited, she just pretty much like had to help the heroes get back to Earth by terming the kids, which that's pretty entertaining.
Yeah, it's a fun one.
I mean, she has really good, solid episodes, but not a huge impact on the greater universe or whatever, like our top ones will. So, but she's still really cool. Yeah.
She may be low on the list, but at least she's one of the few villains that will put away her pride and ego to work alongside heroes if there's a more dangerous threat that she can't control, since she doesn't want chaos and destruction. She just wants dominion.
Rule everything, yeah.
Did you miss Mummy? Well, don't you worry, baby. Mummy's going to take good care of you from now on.
Thanks for watching. Stay tuned as tomorrow we'll continue with our list for the week. Also, be on the lookout for the upcoming Multiverse fundraiser on January 20th to the 22nd of next year. And click on the link to check the newest series, Anonymous, at their website and see its first 2 episodes for free. Be sure to like and subscribe for more content, as more will come on DC-Cember.